top story, a nationwide bus strike by the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa is expected to impact commuter travel around the country when it kicks in this morning. The following bus services will be affected: Megabus, Gautrain buses, Greyhound, Golden Arrow, My City in Cape Town, Rea Vaya in Johannesburg, Buscor in Mpumalanga, Bojanala in the northwest, Algoa Bus in Port Elizabeth, Maibuye in East London, Go George in George, Arieng in Tshwane, Ngibelo in Sedibeng, Lowveld Bus Company in Limpopo, Paarl Bus in Mpumalanga, and Mpakati in Mpumalanga, amongst others.
We were supposed to have a meeting that we set up last Friday. We're supposed to meet with employers and see if we could resolve this dispute. But unfortunately, that meeting didn't happen because the employers pulled out. They said we had issued a strike notice for tomorrow, therefore they couldn't participate in the meeting. So as we sit right now, we are basically as far apart as we've ever been because we didn't have any talks today. It is indefinite until we can actually come up with an agreement between ourselves and the employers. Well, unfortunately, this kind of thing actually does happen. This is how far we went last year. Last year we also had the strike. Employers weren't willing to come to the table, but eventually they did. So we are leaving the door open. We still, even now, if they give us a call, we will be willing to engage. But unfortunately, this is the game that we have to play.
These are some of the grievances listed by the unions. The unions want a 12% across-the-board wage increase. The workers demand a minimum basic wage of up to 8,000 rand per month. Bus drivers want full pay for dual drivers on long distance. Unions want night shift to be between 4 p.m. and 6 a.m. And they also want workers to be compensated for sleeping out and want decent accommodation.
Well, as a union, we've been negotiating now for months with the employers in the bus sector. The employers have adopted an attitude which is bashing the union and obviously an attitude that seeks to vary down benefits and conditions of our members. And we've been in a deadlock since March, and employers chose not to utilize the 30 days where we were supposed to explore and to find one another. And as a result of their attitude, the union was left with no option, not just NUMSA, all the unions that have negotiated. As a result, we have gave them a notice for a strike action. The strike action will resume tomorrow morning. And really, we asking our communities to accept that we did everything to try and avoid to embark on this strike, because we know that once we embark on a strike, our community, the first big victims, who are going to be negatively affected.
Unfortunately, the strike will continue until we probably have a settlement, unless the parties agree to, postpone or pull it off. But as it stands now, we can't dictate to the union call of the strike or to the employers to unlock the gates. All we can do is to try and obviously attempt to get the parties as quickly as possible to the table. And I think we have at least achieved that to happen, which will start from tomorrow morning. And hopefully through that process, with the assistance of the CCMA, we would be able to get as quickly as possible to a resolution.
We are at the Marabastad, where a lot of buses actually make their way to unload and offload people. But as you can see behind me, that platform there remains empty this morning. As the bus strike started this morning, no buses have been making their way in and out of the rank. This is where usually people from Mpumalanga get their buses to home and get buses offload them when they're coming to work this morning. But it's not as busy as usual. It's actually quiet. However, taxi drivers are capitalizing on the situation. They're making sure that they're rushing into the inner city and places like Midrand and Alexandra, where they're dropping off people. And commuters are still waiting in the queues to try and get taxis that are going to take them to their different locations, because most of them, I'm sure, use buses. But as you can see this morning, there are no buses that are taking them to their workplaces.